A bitch is back. She is ready to start back posting consistent content for you hoes up on this booktube. Hi everybody, hope you all are doing well. It's been a while since I've uploaded a video. I didn't feel like uploading videos, but now I feel like uploading a video, so yay! I'm back. First things first, we must talk about the big elephant in the room, my bookshelf. Oh my god, she's white now, she's Caucasian. My bookshelf has more privilege than me. I painted it white because I've been wanting to paint it white for a while, and I also got a new desk that takes up a lot more space, so I had to shove it in this corner of my room. But I think it looks really pretty. If you like it, let me know in the comments down below. If you don't like it, don't say shit. Anyways, for my first video back, I thought that I would do the thank you next book tag, which was obviously created in celebration of Ariana Grande's new song, which was fabulous. Did y'all see the video? Oh my god, 7-year-old me was screaming with all of the White Girl 2004 references. It was amazing. But the tag was created by This Story Ain't Over. I forgot her name though.
Guys, I can't believe I actually made this tag.
Oh girl, you did that though. You did that. You made that tag, sis.
Hey everyone, it's Jashana and welcome back.
Jashana. You should subscribe to her, she's really fabulous. I discovered her through discovering the tag, obviously, and I decided to do the tag. Nobody tagged me to do it, but you know, a bitch does what she wants. The first question is a book that you said thank you next to, a book that you DNF'd, a book that you did not finish. Oh my god. And I have a couple for this one, the first of which being To All the Boys That I've Loved Before by Jenny Han, which is what booktube's darling, and I don't blame y'all. I'm sure it's a fun story for y'all. It wasn't for me. It was boring as fuck. I gave it 200 pages before I decided to put it down and never pick it up the fuck again because it was boring as shit. Oh my god. I couldn't understand the characters' motivations. The story didn't feel like it was going anywhere. The writing was meh. I could have finished it, but I didn't because I didn't care to. I also DNF'd Crazy Rich Asians by Kevin Kwan, which was just tedious. I DNF'd it twice. I got 30% of the way through the first time and 10% the second time before I decided, you know what? I'm just going to go with no percent. I don't want to read this book. It is annoying to read. I hate Kevin Kwan's writing style. I'm sure he's a great person, but his writing style is really tedious. I saw the movie though and I really liked it. I did have to kind of take off my anti-capitalist brain for like 2 seconds to watch that movie and enjoy it on a surface level, but otherwise it was fine. I also DNF'd The Girls by Emma Cline, which was one of the most unseasoned, bland, boring books that I've ever had the displeasure of reading a part of in my entire life. I got like 150 pages into it before I decided that I did not want to subject myself to a story that was as stimulating as paint drying on a fucking wall. Most recently though, I DNF'd Children of Blood and Bone by Tomi Adeyemi, which is the first in the legacy of Orisha. I didn't finish this not because I wasn't liking it, but because I just didn't feel like finishing it because I didn't care to finish it. I do plan to again one day go back to it. It's like more of a thank you next time instead of a thank you next. But it just wasn't as amazing as I was expecting it to be, so I'm hoping that if I go back into it with like lower expectations, I will end up loving it, if that makes sense. Like, I want it to be at least a 4-star book for me. So the next 3 questions are a book that taught you love, a book that taught you patience, and a book that taught you pain. A book that taught me love would definitely have to be The Art of White Roses by Viviana Prado Nunez, which is more about empathy than about love, but I think that empathy is a huge part of love, because if you love somebody, you would be empathetic with them, if that makes sense. Oh my god, I'm so profound. It's set in Cuba during the 1950s while the Cuban Revolution was happening, and we're following a young girl who is dealing with a lot of instability in her family, which is partially due to some of the major societal happenings that were happening. You know, the whole ass Cuban Revolution was happening. But it's a really cute story about family and solidarity, but it's not very popular. So if y'all like historical fiction, if y'all want to read some more Hispanic lit, some more Caribbean lit, this is a good option. For a book that taught me patience, I'm going with Across the Universe by Beth Revis. This is the first in the Across the Universe trilogy. It's the only one of the trilogy that I've read thus far. When I started this book, like about for 3/4 of it, I vehemently hated it. The world building in here is really drab, the characters are pretty hollow, and the story in of itself is very predictable. But conceptually and thematically, I think it's a very interesting story. It's a dystopian story set on a generation ship, which is something that really interests me a lot, even though I don't read a lot of sci-fi usually. And I think when it came to addressing the dystopian society and, you know, the kind of repercussions that would come, you know, if we were to explore a reality where generation ship is a thing, I think that was done really well. And ultimately, after finishing this book, even though I didn't really enjoy it that much, I think the patience that I had to pull through with it and to finish it really made me value the whole aspect of what a generationship is, and it made me want to read more books about generationships. If you don't know what a generationship is, I highly recommend that you watch this video by Real Life Law. He does an wow, okay, oh my god, it's been a while since I filmed a video. He does an excellent explanation of it. So go watch that video. For a book that taught me pain, I'm going to talk about my least favorite book of all time, which is Mosquitoland by David Arnold. And that sounds really harsh. David Arnold's a really nice person. I've seen interviews with him. He seems really awesome. But his book, unfortunately, is not. When you talk about trying hard, this book is the epitome. It is the, the ultimate representation of trying too fucking hard. I could not stop laughing at how the writing in this book was so contrived, so overly, exaggerated. Like, the author was really, as I said, he's a really nice person, but he was reaching. He was reaching. My motherfucker was reaching. I couldn't stand the writing in this book after, like, about the first 50 pages, but I pushed through, and I finished it, and it became my least favorite book of all time. The next question is to name a book you loved at the time of reading, but in hindsight, you do not like as much anymore, but which you still learned some other quality from. Ooh, girl, that was long. But I think the best answer I have for this one is Written in the Stars by Jashana C. As most of y'all know, this book is the reason why I'm booktubing my first ever booktube video, which I think is private right now. I'm sorry, because I was so fucking cringy that back then. But my first video was a review for this book, and ever since then it became like one of my new favorite books of all time. I gave it like 5 stars. But recently I reread it and I knocked it down to 4. It's more like a 3-star book if I'm being quite honest, but because it has that sentimental value, I can't go below a 4. Honestly, like, there's some things that could be worked on with this story. I don't think it's a bad story, but it's the author's debut novel. She has some improvement when it comes to her writing and her characters and her story and all of that kind of stuff. But it is a very compelling story, and I did buy her second book, which I'm currently reading. It's called A Man Unbound, and it's so cute. Oh my god. I'm so happy to have like both of her books right now. That's completely unrelated to the question, but yeah, this one I don't love it as much as I used to, but it still has a special place in my heart. Number 7 is to name a book you're currently talking to, aka a book that you have the hots for. And for this one, I don't know if you mean like currently reading, because I'm not currently reading this book, but it's the book that I'm most excited to read on my TBR right now, and I will insert a clip of me unboxing it, because I unboxed it on camera so that I could post it on Twitter, but I never posted it on Twitter, so I guess I'll just insert the clip now. So I have to say a huge thank you, first of all, to Whitney from Witty Novels, who is just the absolute most amazing person ever. I won this in a giveaway from her, so she sent it to me, and she's just amazing, and I am so unbelievably excited for this book because it is just so up my alley. So without further ado, how the hell do you do it? You see, I don't get book mail often, right? So this is a novelty for me. Bitch. Come. What it? Bit! Okay. Oh, we getting somewhere. Oh yes, bitch. Open up then, alright. Okay. Oh, it's so cute. I didn't even see the cover yet, but it's so cute. Oh my gosh. It's adorable. I'm gonna sleep with this in my bed. Thanks, Whitney. And as you could pretty much tell, that book was A Very Large Expanse of Sea by Tahira Mafi. So again, thank you very much to Whitney from Witty Novels, who is the bestest of the bestest ever, for sending me this book from her Twitter giveaway. This is Mafi's first attempt at young adult contemporary. She usually writes like fantasy and dystopian and that kind of stuff. But what really drew this book to me is not only that it's contemporary, but because it's the story of a young girl called Shireen, or Shireen, I'm not sure how you say her name. She is an Iranian-American Muslim girl who wears the hijab. She's grown up in New York City in 2002. So the immediate post 9/11 era, and obviously because of that she is the recipient of a lot of Islamophobia and xenophobia and racism, and I believe this story explores how she handles that, how she resists that image, and how she, copes with the wider societal issues and implications that she has to deal with. I'm really excited for this one. It's probably the book that I'm most excited for, and I'm hoping to get to this one in December. If I read nothing else in December, I must still read this book because it's amazing. Obviously, I have books to read for school too, so I need to read those as well. But this one is also high on the priority list. And finally, number 8 is name a book that gone last. The book of you, the book that helped you, love yourself a little bit more. Make one. This is for the benefit of my new subscribers because, you know, anybody who's been here for any amount of time would know what my favorite book of all time is. It is, of course, A Tale for the Time Being by Ruth Ozeki, which is the story of a woman who finds the diary of a young mysterious girl, and we are reading this diary, and we're also reading the story of the woman who's reading the diary. And it's amazing. My wig has not yet fully recovered. She's still in the ICU after 2 years. It's been 2 years since I've read this book. And I've just read nothing that could top this. I have to reread it. But I know if I reread it, I'll still love it as much as I did the first time because I just know it. It's my favorite book. It's the book of me. And not only is this my favorite book because it's just an excellent story, but it's my favorite book because I read it during a time where I was going through really bad anxiety and I had a lot of physical pain as well. Like around that time I discovered I had a scoliosis and my back was bitch. My back was and that was like my worst semester at school as well. So I just was really going through a very, very bad time, you know, emotionally and physically, and this book was there for me. It took me 7 weeks to read. I purposefully stretched it to 7 weeks so that I could spend more time with it, and it made me so happy. So there were some external factors involved in this becoming my favorite book as well, you know, and there are some flaws in the story. You know, it's not a perfect story. Some people hate this book because of that, and also because they just don't have good taste in literature, which is fine. You don't have to have good taste. You know, once I have good taste, that's all that matters. But yeah, this is my favorite book of all time. I love it. It's my, you know, it's my Aubrey. It's my Aubrey. It's my Aubrey. Oh my god. That's going to be it for this video. I apologize if things weren't as ideal as they usually are, if they are ideal anyway when it comes to my videos. But it's been a while since I made a video, so I'm very rusty. And the lighting in this corner of my room is not as good as it used to be over there when I used to film there. So I'm still adjusting, so I ask you to bear with me whilst I figure this whole new setup and this whole new booktube phase of my career out. Booktube career. Well, I don't even know what the fuck I'm saying. Thank you for remaining subscribed. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you've read any of these books, I would love to know your thoughts on them in the comments down below. All of that being said, I hope you have a lovely, lovely day. And until next time, inshallah, keep reading.